My name is Lindsay, and my thoughts for today and for the past 2 weeks are constantly drawn to what's going on in the world. The pain, the suffering, anguish, and destruction. My ability to concentrate on college work and study keeps circling back to a place of deep sadness. I find myself drifting into prayer, praying for the Ukrainians, those in leadership, and those separated from their loved ones all over the world. On Sunday, I had the privilege of spending time with the small people that belong to our church family. They are aged between about 5 and 8. And together we ran around the church garden looking for signs of spring. We looked for many things, including bare twigs, blossom, caterpillars and butterflies. Very quickly into the activity, one child picked up a tiny empty snail shell and she excitedly shared her find with the other children. She gently passed this fragile shell from child to child, each child taking time to gently hold this little shell and look at the remains of this little snail's house. When we'd all finished looking, we gently put the empty shell back on the wall, and a little voice said, "Maybe the snail will one day come back and find its home." My eyes welled up as I thought about the Ukrainian children fleeing their homes. And I thought about the time it might take before they could safely return to a place that they could once again safely call home. The wonderful thing about spending time with children is that you're often quickly transported from one place to another place that gives you a different image and a new story is to be told. This Sunday was no exception. And the children quickly moved from snails to blossom and racing around the church garden to a quiet time of prayer. When we pray with the children, we allow time for open prayer, for them to pray what's on their hearts. And this week was no exception. They prayed for the trees. They prayed for the daffodils. They prayed for those suffering from long COVID. And they prayed for the people of Ukraine with such simple and beautiful words that they could have only come from the heart of a child. The children within our church family have such a huge heart for other members of the congregation. And this Sunday was no different. After running around the garden, they went inside the church to make daffodils of hope. They drew around their hands and glued blue middles into the daffodils. As they glued and created these daffodils of hope to take home to give to their parents, they asked if they could make them for the other people in the church too. We quickly went into mass production, gluing, cutting and making as many daffodils as possible in the time that we had. Then during the last hymn, the children gave out these wonderful daffodils to other members of the congregation. So Francis also looked at the world in this way. And it's not childish, but childlike. And he would often describe his relationship with the earth and for caring for the tiniest of creatures in intimate terms, like mother, father, brother or sister. I wonder how much we can learn from the children, how through their teaching we can let ourselves fall in love with the mystery of creation, allowing the mystery of our faith to shape and interact with the painful reality of the world. So my thought for today asks, what can we learn from the children? How can we, like them, fall in love with creation and marvel at an empty snail shell? How do we go about seeing the world in this way?